The shovel falls down where the spirit calls, down where the earth it meets the bone. The mighty lay down where the women pray, down where the heat of day turns to cold.
Good afternoon, all. Welcome back to Controlled Chaos Painting. As always, I'm Ken, and I'll be your artist today. Today we're finally going to do that miniature I was talking about, and we're going to do an ice troll. This is actually going to be a special painting. I have somebody an acquaintance that did me a huge favor, and I'd like to repay it. He knows about it. His name is Ben. Ben, this is for you, buddy. Again, I appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and get this painted up for you and get it mailed out to you. Ice troll, something frosty, something cool, something chill. I'm not sure the exact colors as per, the gaming manuals. But I think it's going to look pretty anyways. If I do miniatures in the future, which I probably will, a lot of it I'm just going to cut through and just show you the painting process, make it all pretty, clean cut the video, make it short and brief. In this one, I'm probably going to show you some of the process and explain what I'm doing so you understand the techniques involved. This is much different than canvas painting. The type of canvas painting I'm doing, as you've seen, it's kind of easy, it's kind of random chaos. This is much more controlled. You get out of it what you put into it. And there's a lot of steps to it. There's techniques we will be using and techniques that exist that I won't be using. But if you are enjoying these videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button for upcoming videos. It really does help. Let's get painting. First off, we've got the miniature, which I'm going to go ahead and break open on camera. We'll take a look at it. It comes with a clear base. The base itself has some terrain built into it, so I'll have fun painting that. That'll be a bonus, make the miniature much more attractive. Assorted paintbrushes and some grays and assorted blues topped off with white. And get this opened up. Now I've painted a few of this brand of miniatures before, and the detail was pretty good on them, and a lot of detail is important when painting miniatures. It really helps make them come out more beautiful, and it helps the ease of the process. So what I'm going to do, Ben, is I'm just going to go ahead and paint this and put it in like that, unglued to the other base. That way you can decide whether to use that or not, and just put DAP glue on it. This base will definitely be painted though. As I mentioned, we have the paints. Now these are also acrylic paints, like with the canvas painting, but these are a much thinner mixture. So they will wash off with paint. They're water soluble. Paper towels, not only for your hands, but for some of the painting techniques that I call dry brushing. That's where you're going to basically apply highlights and whatnot to the figure, and you're going to get a certain color, whatever color you're going to use for the highlight. You're going to get a bunch of that color on the paintbrush, and then take the pigments off on the paper until the pigments are barely coming off, and then you would lightly go over the detail in the miniature, and it will pick up those pigments and give it highlight, and the darker colors underneath will give it depth. Magnifying glass, as I said, you're going to have some water nearby. And as for the paintbrushes, really, if you can get real hair, perhaps horsehair or something, that's better. You want to get a lot of straight point brushes, and then you want to get a lot of square box-like paintbrushes. This will let you do the fine details. This will let you do overall larger areas. Let's get painting. Okay, so here's a closer look at the miniature. This is a WizKids miniature. Again, it's made from plastic. We're going to paint the color scheme a bit different, make it a bit more bright. But yeah, it's an ice troll. In this case, a female ice troll. But it is kind of a gorgeous miniature. There's a lot of fine detail on it. I like the base, the detail on the base. The old miniatures used to have no detail on the base. They'd just be kind of flat. So what we're going to do here is the main colors of the troll are going to be painted in these three blues. These are ultramarine highlight, surf aqua, and light blue. These have been well used. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with using the medium color in these blues, the aqua surf or surf aqua, and we're going to do what's called the base coat. This is going to be the flesh color, and we're pretty much going to paint over all the flesh area, maybe the entire miniature except the base, in this color. Then to add shadow, we're going to take the ultramarine highlight, the darker blue, and we're going to dilute that down with water. And then you lightly go over the whole thing, and it's called a wash brush. And the gravity will pull that color into the crevices and all the cracks, and it will create a darker shadow. Later, we're going to go through and highlight it with a combination of these two by dry brushing, and I'll show you the dry brushing in a minute, and it'll pick up pigments off the brush, and it will cause a highlight, so you'll have depth and highlight. Okay, we're going to get some of the aqua surf in here. Sometimes you got to pull the caps off, and to help make sure that the coloring is uniform, even though we're painting these in different colors, we will mix the colors together to some degree, so you have a hint of each of the colors mixed in, and it will seem more natural that way. Which honestly, that's the second stage that I evolved to. The first stage was just painting whatever color. I want a green tunic, so I take green and paint it. No depth, no shadow, no highlights. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this darker blue and add it in this lighter blue, or the middle blue, and then some of the lighter blue, and we'll mix all these together again so they all have a hint of the other colors in them. And these paints will dry semi-quickly, so you can't waste too much time. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take some of that middle color here, and I thought about it, and we're going to go over the entire miniature in this, except for the base. That way, in between the hair, which is actually going to be a different color, in between the hair you'll see this blue, which if any of that is actually flesh showing through, then it'll pick it up, it'll show as flesh when we go over and lightly touch the fur up, or the hair, which you'll see how that process works in a bit here. And we also run a fishing channel. If you or anybody you know is into fishing, it's actually been up and running a lot longer. It's called Hers and His Adventures in California.
Are you gonna take the bet that you won't forget me? The chaos can make you sweat, but not lately. I'm like a cannonball, I'm getting faster. I'm coming, I'm running to get you.
Holy shit! It's a monster!
Oh, Leia says it's really big.
It's a monster!
Come break me down. Nothing can stop me now, and you're never gonna get me, 'cause I'm the one wearing the crown.
We'll probably change the name to something fishing orientated, but it's all fishing videos, about 200 videos up there, and it's pretty up to date. Okay, and it's going to be hard. You got to really go over this a few times, maybe get a smaller brush to get the paint in all the nooks and crannies. You don't want to miss anything. You don't want to see a single dot of that original primer color, and that's for this initial base coat.
Wrong name.
Fire this every day. You are standing in my way. High, the price you're gonna pay. I am here and gonna stay. Through mud, I'm crawling down, down, down. These bricks I'm hauling down, down, down. The flames are calling.
We're going to add the shadowing or the shading to it. So there's a few techniques you can use. We are going to use what's called wash brushing. So we're going to take the darkest color, and again, like I said, you want to mix these colors together a little bit so that it has the feel and the natural transition between the two colors. Try not to get that mixed in there too much there. Rinse this off a little bit here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and add, dilute this with water. Oops, that might have been a little too much. I need a dropper for that, honestly. If it is, I can just go back and add some more paint pigment to it, which I'll probably do. That's kind of watery. Let's see. That might be okay. That might be good. Okay, so now we're going to start the wash brush. And you want to get a wider brush that's going to cover a bit of area. Again, just a friendly reminder, try not to get the plastic cheap bristle brushes. Ooh, this might be a little too watery. Okay, we'll give it a shot here. You don't want it too thick either, because then it won't go down into the crevices. And you just go over the entire miniature. That's it. And no, that's a great wash right there. And gravity, again, I think I mentioned this, gravity will take the liquid and start to work it down. It will work its way into the crevices, often leaving the spots that protrude the most, in this case the hair, often leaving it slightly the original color, which offers as a highlight later when you go to paint the miniature, or finish painting the miniature, doing the highlight process. And you might go through this shadowing process once or twice, depending how thin or nice the coat comes out. You'll start to notice the shadowing effect, and you'll see the effect that you're looking to get. Get a bit down in the crevices for sure. On the face. If there's any bubbles like in the eyes and whatnot in the mouth, just pop them with the bristles of the brush. You don't want the bubbles in there. Oh, it's really sloppy, etc., etc. For this particular technique, yes, it is. But that's okay. Sloppy is fine. Just watch the consistency of your paint. Again, you want it kind of sinking in there, and then just a thinner coating on the other parts that are sticking out. Like, again, the hair in this one. So I'll go ahead and finish this up, and we'll get to the next step. Okay, so here's the grays and whites we're going to use. We're going to start with pure white. Then we're going to move up to a medium of misty gray. And then we're going to move to cloudy gray. Make sure you always shake your paints very well before you use them. And if they're a little too thick, just add a little water to the bottle and dilute them a little bit. Yeah, the dark one's a little thick there. So we're going to be diluting it anyways for the wash brush. So we'll take and mix a little bit of the dark in with the lighter. Just a little bit there. So as you complete the larger areas and get the base covered and get any of the other color off the base that you didn't intend, then you go in and finally get the last bits of it out. You want it smooth up against the miniature, up against his foot. Just go through, fine tune it. And again, we haven't added the shadowing yet. We got to wait for this to dry. Maybe a little bit more coating over here. We haven't even hit the white highlight yet, so it'll snap, it'll pop some once we get that on. Okay, be like snow. Okay, while that's drying, we're going to use some royal purple, rather dark purple, for inside the mouth. A thin brush. Might be a little too long, but we can try that. We do have an assortment of choices, all well used. This isn't necessarily going to be the color of the tongue, maybe a shade of the color of the tongue. This is really hard for me to see without a magnifying glass, so I'm painting at a serious handicap right now. So I'll probably do the finer detail up close with the magnifying glass. And then if you get any on the outside, lips where you don't want them or whatnot, you just go back over with the original color. And for the eyes, we're going to use Explosion Orange, if I can get it out here. And just a dab of these. He's got little tiny, way too much paint. Little tiny troll beady eyes, so this is never too easy. Those eyes are extremely tiny. So if you misshape the initial eye, you can go back over with the opposing color, the blue, and rectify the eye. Okay, there we go. Again, every step, let it dry before you proceed to the next step. So, since we've done the shadowing on the top part, but we haven't done the shadowing on the bottom part, we're going to go ahead and mix a little bit of the lighter gray, or the middle gray, with the darker. Mix those up. Sometimes I just dip the back of the brush into the water and just do it like a drop or two at a time. That's probably the best way. No problem. We'll throw some more paint in that there. Get that consistency up a little bit here. A little thicker. Okay, again, since we're covering a large area here, go ahead and get a bigger brush. And like we did on the top, just go over all the details with a decent proportion of paint. And then later go in with a finer brush again and get closer to the feet and stuff so you don't get it on the blue. All the cracks and crevices. Middle blue, the middle hue with the lighter hue blue. And we're going to start working on the highlight now. Don't want to get too much in there, enough just to give it a hint of that color. Maybe a tiny dab of this dark. Thinking maybe a little bit more of this blue. Okay. That should be good. Now we're going to do one of my favorite parts, the dry brushing to get the highlights. So you want to get the pigment on the paintbrush, then go to a tissue or a paper towel or a cloth and get the majority of the pigments off. Okay, you see how it's barely coming off now? Just lightly slap it with the brush. And as you start to see the highlights come out, you can always apply more pressure. Again, dry brush the majority of it off. And it's a slow process where it pops to life, but you'll see it start to pop to life, especially when we get another hue of highlight. It's a way to make it look like you did so much more than you did. Don't get me wrong, it's still a bit of work. Definitely time consuming. just the protruding parts. And that way we get the shadow effect from the darker color in there. Just like that. It's almost like magic.
Here we
There
go,
we go.
here we go. Sit back then and enjoy the show. Here to win, here tonight. I came here to take what's mine. Whoa, I came here to blow your mind. Unbeatable, I've got it all. Unbeatable, I got what you want and more. No, taking me down now. Don't try to figure me out now. You bet and you fall. I stand here unbeatable. Oh no, and living with the limit. Let go, 'cause all I do is kill it. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I came here to blow your mind. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. There's nowhere left to hide. Unbeatable, I've got it all. Unbeatable, I got what you want and more. No, taking me down now. Don't try to figure me out now. You bet and you fall. I stand here unbeatable.
There you go. Want to pick up that gleaming white there. We're going to get quite a bit of this white on there. Really brighten up his fur. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and mix a little bit of this medium blue here with a little bit of leaf green. We're going to do the eyebrows and the eyelids. Slightly off color. There you go, slightly changing the color there with a slight greenish tint, more to the traditional troll look. Now hopefully you can tell there with the green mixed in it there, you definitely got an off blue. So we're going to go ahead and do the eyebrows and eyelids with that. Might do the lips with that as well. So, and we still got to paint the tongue. Hopefully you guys got a good view here. There we go. Very delicate work. Right now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same green and blue mixture and I'm going to dry brush in the palms of the hands and maybe over the biceps and the thighs, but definitely on the palms, and maybe run it up the arm a little bit. Just a little bit in there. May run it a little bit on the flesh just to help again identify the flesh from the fur. Okay, there we go. Coming into the palm, a bit darker in the palm. Okay, but try not to get this mixture on the fur. And you can even go over with a highlighted version of this color too. Add a little bit more white into this, or even a little yellow might be nice, honestly. Okay, for the tongue, we're going to go ahead and use blood red. And then after the blood red, we'll paint the tongue. Add a darker wash version over that. Give it a little bit more lively look to it. Okay. Let's see if we can find the tongue in this thing. Oh, it's so small. Okay, well, I won't keep you guys on camera. Let me go ahead and touch up this tongue, get it to look straight. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that there. But the webbing, like his gums right around there in the corner of the mouth, was the dark purple, like inside the mouth. We took a lighter purple and put 2 strips down it. Makes it look a little bit more fresh, a little bit more lively. We're going to take the blood-stained red and we're going to go over the teeth to make a gringy look, and then we'll go over some of that, not all of it. We'll leave the bottom part there and we'll go over the top part in more of an ivory color to make it look like a dirty bone. There's a few dabs of the blood-stained red. Just going to coat the whole teeth all the way down to about the gum line. Try not to hit the jaw or the tongue. If I do, like I always say, go back and touch it up. And I'll check the inside. There might be some little teeth on the top. You don't see them from out here. Okay, there you go. And we'll get that ivory going, make them look like teeth. Okay, now I got some sparkling blue. I'd call it dark sparkling blue. We're going to use this for a pupil in each eye. Need a paintbrush with 1 bristle. Not perfect. He's looking kind of straightforward and slightly down. See if we can get the other one to do the same, or is he going to be lopsided? There you go. Now we got to get the ivory on the teeth here. And we'll make it a little darker at first for the first layer. And again, I'm going to go just above. I'm going to start painting this just above the darkness that I painted on the first layer. So I'll bring this up just a tiny bit from there and cover the whole tooth. And then brighten this up a little bit and put the next layer up a little bit higher so it looks like it's dirtier at the gum line. Almost should have put a bit more of the aged bone in here. Yeah, that's barely a little bit lighter than the other purple or the blood-stained red. It's okay. We'll put 1 or 2 more layers on it and get it to look a little bit more like teeth. There you go. It's coming too. Got the eyes pretty much done. Got the eyebrows and the ears. Got different hues of white and bluish white throughout the fur. Okay, while we're waiting for the teeth to dry, we're going to go ahead and put the highlighting on the base. We're going to start with pure white, and then we're going to add some misty gray to that. Not too much, a few drops. 1, 2, 3, try 4. See what that looks like. Just want to bring it up from the white hue just a bit. Yeah, almost like a dirty snow. Okay, there you go. And it's definitely lighter than the current base, as you can see. And then from here, we're probably going to add it closer to a pure white for even further highlight. Okay, so again, we're going to be using a dry brushing technique. So sorry, my arm's in the way, get so much of the paint on. Take a little bit of the excess off. Get to your paper towel. I know you can't see it. Get the majority of the pigments off. And then lightly go over it, especially in the beginning, to see how much pigment you have on. And again, the protruding parts should pick up the paint. You're not pressing down into the model very hard. And you should keep this going all the same direction too. When I'm doing the strokes, you shouldn't crisscross them, which I was kind of doing there for a moment. Get down on the sides and get some more pigments of paint. Better to put a little too less than too much in the beginning, because you can always keep layering it on till you get that popping effect. Careful not to hit the feet. You see that shadowing effect there? Places that the paintbrush isn't getting. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and work on this for a bit because it's going to take a while, but you get the idea. Get the back. Look at it jump to life. Okay. Pulled out some pure white, no gray in it, and this will be the final highlight on it. And again, mostly on the really protruding parts. Well, I don't know. You could do it more heavy. I am trying to get kind of a snowy effect. Let's see. So picking up that next brightness level, even over the previous. Now, if you don't cover all the previous, you're going to have multi-layer shadowing. If you cover everything that you just highlighted, then you'll kind of negate the previous highlighting. Then you pick a few spots. Oops, sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben. Hopefully it's looking nice. Hopefully you're enjoying this, Ben. Everybody else for that matter. Honestly, I think she's looking gorgeous. Okay, now back to the teeth. We went ahead and painted the darker color, the blood stain, on the claws, and now he's got them on the teeth, so we're going to go ahead and add the aged bone. So we'll add maybe 4 drops there. Do another 1, 2, 3. Okay, now doing the teeth here, the detail is so fine that you can either paint it directly on or attempt to dry brush it. Either should work okay. Again, up a little bit higher than the previous level. Control my breathing. Okay. And then from there, we'll be going up one more level of brightness and leave a little bit of that visible, so you have like multiple levels. That's a good color right there, though. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the fingernails, which I'll probably do a fair amount of that off camera here. You guys get the idea. Same thing, repeat the process with all the fingernails. Okay. Okay, and the final level of highlighting on the teeth and claws, going with mostly aged bone, and going to mix in a slight amount of the blood stain aged bone mixture. Hard to see. There's your aged bone. Get a little bit of this in there. And this will be just on the tips, the points of the teeth and the claws, revealing the other 2 colors still beneath this one. And if you want, you could even turn around and paint some fresh or dried blood on the claws, or have it splattered in the snow. Might be a good idea. I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but there is something we are going to do. I think every troll should have warts, right? So we're going to put some warts on this guy. One could definitely consider him done already. Absolutely. But we're going to always go a step further. It's just my nature. And Ben, thank you. Okay, now Ben, for those warts I promised you. We've got some blood red there. We've got some explosion orange. Here's a little bit of burnt orange, if I can get it to come out. And we're going to do little dabs of these colors, various spots in the flesh. And then we're going to top them all off with lemon yellow right at the very tip of the pimples. Ugh. Get a little bit more red. Put a pimple right there. Got a big red one on the nose. Right there. And how about a red one here? And say here. And a little bit of that explosion orange here. Put one right here on the foot. Okay, lemon yellow will be the final touches on those disgusting pimples. I always pour too much paint. This stuff should last a lifetime. And just a light dab in the center of each of the previous dots. There you go, like that. Like that. Like that. And so on. Okay, everybody, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this painting journey today. Sorry to the canvas painting lovers that I put this up there, but I've been promising I'd do it. Besides, you might want to see, a different type of painting. And this can be applied to anything. If you got garden gnomes, you can apply that. You'd have some of the most beautiful garden gnomes around. You can apply it to any 3D statue, really. Remember, the more detail on the statue and the more engraved it is, the easier it is to paint with this technique. So we're going to go ahead and get a close-up of that. Also, Ben, I hope you're pleased with it, buddy. I really do. It was actually a joy painting it, and I love the color scheme. So hopefully it does you right in the campaign, and hopefully the players enjoy it, and that's one heck of an encounter. Everybody else will either, I'm not sure, do another miniature first and then canvas, or canvas then a miniature. But if you are enjoying these videos, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification button for upcoming videos. I really do appreciate it. And stop by and check out that fishing channel of ours, if you know somebody that likes fishing.
A chill in the air, that's me coming. Gave up being nice a long time ago. So I keep on walking down this dark, dark road.